Gentleman, about voter behavior. It is in this context that whichever politician I meet these days, they tell me that over the last 10 and 15 years, it is not.
Sir, 1 minute. Just speak slowly. You've enough time. This is not parliament. Speak slowly so we can understand.
I just want to ask them about voter behavior. Because while talking of democracy, we are always focusing on politicians. But ultimately, the guy who votes them are voters. And whatever voters I speak to in the last, they say, whatever politicians I speak to, they tell me that in the last 10, 15 years, the voter has become very greedy.
Has become?
Become very greedy. And though in the good old days, you could say, make a road in a village, or make a school or a college, and the voter would be happy. Today, they want direct cash transfer. So this is one of the reasons which is...
So what is your question, sir?
This is my question. I want to ask their opinion about this. Do they agree with this thing that...
Oh, I got it. Has the voter become greedy?
Greedier.
Okay, greedier. Although I have to check if Renan Martin approves that usage.
I have not read Renan Martin, you may.
Now, voters' greed can be in two forms. One, that is greedy for more development, which is healthy. The other is looking for cash, liquor, which also is a reality. We decided to deal with this voter behavior issue, and we set up a voter education division. We did a study, knowledge, attitude, behavior, and practice studies in all 11 states which went to poll recently, the last 2 years, to find out exactly the answer to what you're saying. Why do they behave the way they do? Are they becoming greedy? Are they swayed by the promises? Or can something be done? We found that this helped a lot. First, their pessimism about democracy, they were never coming out to vote. The urban voters did not come to vote. Only the toughies. Women were not coming out because they were scared of violence at the polling station. In all these 11 states, highest ever turnout of voters was achieved. But I'll give you one most interesting example. When we were holding elections in Tamil Nadu, I analyzed the state specifically for its ground realities. West Bengal and Tamil Nadu were going to the poll at the same time, same size state. Our focus in Tamil Nadu was money power. In West Bengal, our focus was on the gun power, and which is why we had to do 7 phases of poll in the West Bengal and single phase in Tamil Nadu. Every political party said that there is so much of money, and even voters expect money. We went to Kerala the next day. We asked the politicians, what is the situation there? To our pleasant surprise, they said there is no problem of money power in Kerala. We said, why? They said, our voter is smart. They, even if we give money, they have decided who they're going to vote for. Money will make no difference, so why waste money? I think now, taking a cue from this, when we went to Tamil Nadu with our voter education program, we made exactly this kind of appeal. And civil society got involved. We got fantastic response. I was getting 300 SMSs on my or emails on my BlackBerry those days. People themselves reporting how money is being distributed. An envelope has been slipped under the door. How somebody has thrown a packet from the window of saris and dhotis. Instead of lapping up that money in saris and dhotis, those same guys are complaining, please catch them. We don't want this money. So I think we're blaming a voter for that kind of greed, liquor. That can be taken care of by voter education. And media, I must say, played a very important role in that. But voters' greed for asking for more development, I think that is perfectly justified. And some politicians say that voters are very ungrateful. Whatever you may do for them, they still throw you out in the next election.
You know, one of the curious things is that if you look at the index of development in the past 2 decades, you'll find that the evidence of expensive elections happen to more or less coincide with the states which have achieved the rapid. In the southern states, it's particularly virulent, this form of what might be called retail corruption. I mean, an assembly segment in Karnataka, for example, I think they spend about 3 crores. Now, I doubt if Dinesh Trivedi is there in Barakpur, I doubt if he'll spend, even unofficially, nobody's going to spend anything half or even quarter of that. I mean, apart from Gujarat, where it's still very modest, economic development and retail corruption seem to go hand in hand.
Yeah, but it's unfair to bring Dinesh in because you can't match Dinesh's charisma with that of the Reddy brothers. Okay, last question to Professor Harry Doll.
I just want to quickly share this thought. And the question is, both the speakers and Suhel have triggered a very important debate here and looking forward. I'm not going to mention the name of the state, but from the horse's mouth, one particular state in the Northeast.
No, tell us.
No, we can't. The one gentleman got a contract for 800 crores to build roads. We're talking about infrastructure. As a part of the election SOP, he told very clearly, I get 30% cash back, and the rest of it is distributed amongst my cousins, friends, uncles, aunts, everybody else, down the road to the village panchayat, to everybody else, so that this money is spent. I said, how much do you actually spend out of that 800 crores? About 20 to 30%. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is there's an earlier reference about a Kacha road, and then somebody talked about the fact that, you're not really building assets, which is a very important point. This leakage is, how does the Election Commission look at this? I mean, how do you stop this kind of thing? You're not building assets, and this is coming out from contracts, and it's just, I mean, we're talking about corruption, but this is ridiculous amount, because here thousands of crores are being poured into so-called infrastructure, but that infrastructure is not coming. So is there any mechanism there?
Well, leakage is actually basically the general issue of corruption, and we are concerned only about the election days. We are nobody outside the election time. However, they came across a complaint that the money, the crores that you're talking about, particularly the MP LAD scheme or MLA, local area development scheme. Every MP gets 5 crores every year for local area development work. We found in some states that this money was being accumulated for 4 years and 6 months, and then in the last 6 months, then all these crores will be distributed. Some development works will start. We wanted an audit done. Of course, by the time we could have collected all the material, but we have set the ball in motion. We do want to examine this, and I'm sure Election Commission will propose a reform that this money should be allowed to lapse every year. Otherwise, it is misused, accumulated for the last few months. As it is, we see that all the, we are always often accused that because of election, because of the model code, we stop development work. But I can't understand why all the bright ideas of development come to the politician's mind after 4 years and 11 months in power. And only in the last month, all the bright ideas which they want to implement, which we don't allow, because then that is those ideas are basically to seduce the voters, to get an unfair advantage on the opposition, because only the ruling party has that advantage. So that is what we try to neutralize. Our role is only confined to this bit, but wider leakage, that's a very serious issue.
Why don't you send Vinod Rai an email with the name of that?
But I think there's an interesting point there, and particularly in the Northeast. I mean, for example, the road from Tawang, I think it's been built 5 times on paper. What has happened in the Northeast, and I think this is a matter of great concern, is that corruption has been deliberately encouraged and institutionalized as a method of fighting insurgency. And I think this is something very worrying. And it actually, it corrodes that society. It goes just beyond corruption. It's a far more serious issue.
Okay, on that happy note, everything's fine. The country is doing well. Everything's working brilliantly. If there are few leakages and all, bad luck. Harry, thank you for that probing question to end this very stimulating discussion. Swapan, as always, you've been apolitical, neutral, and extremely intuitive. Dr. Quraishi, a real doctor, has been fabulous with his views on democracy. Peace to the world. God bless America. Thank you.